And it's 6 p.m. on Thursday, which means that Total Body Lab team is live, and we're going to share with you our successes and our challenges. My name is Katya Gorbacheva, and welcome to our Clients and Friends bi-weekly chat. And let's add the people in the order of joining. Carol, hi. Hi, Michelle and Carol. And hi, Julie. We do have some new members on the team. I do hope they saw the message and that they can join as well. So yeah, I'm super excited. One powerlifter and one mother of 4. So lots of cool things. Does anybody want to kick it off with the weekly wins?
I can go. So I've been struggling with deadlift for like ever. And I finally did a decent deadlift this past week that was acceptable to Katya, which is like a big deal for me. And I also PR'd, lifetime PR on deadlift at the same time. So did 225 pounds and definitely could have.
For a double, yeah?
For 2, yeah. And I felt like I could do a lot more. So I think part of that's just strength we've built up and also just finally getting the form kind of dialed in. So that was really awesome. Big win for me.
Yay, 100 kilos.
Woohoo.
Awesome. Yeah, it keeps improving. Your deadlift keeps improving. Slowly, but it is.
As long as it's going up, that's okay.
Yeah, I can relate. My deadlifts did not go well this week. I just lifted like hours before my period started, so no wonder I felt like shit. But it was like sumo wasn't happening. Conventional totally happened though, so I don't know. Maybe I should switch. People on Instagram voted that I should switch into the original deadlift and not be a cheater with sumo. Cool. Well, congrats. Who wants to go next?
I can go.
Hi.
Yeah, so my stream was cutting out, but I think you were talking about wins for the week. So I would say my macros are on point for my bulk. So I call that a win.
Nice.
I was off camera for the first like 5 minutes trying to eat. So yeah.
You can eat here. Yeah, nice.
All right, I guess I'll go. My weight's down. Like it's dropped pretty fast this week, so quite a bit. So, which is my number one goal. So, happy with that.
Do you feel different with bench while your weight is down?
I haven't noticed any.
Okay.
I haven't noticed any difference.
That's good.
My win was I finally got a squat deep enough for Katya. So I struggled a lot with bench last week. So I'm hoping tonight I fare better. But
yeah, bench is tough when losing weight. Like just mass on the body, regardless if it's fat or muscle, it really helps bench. It helps support everything. I mean, I'm not sure if you guys have experienced it, but like when I gained weight, my wench just shut up. And I don't think I've gained muscle necessarily, only muscle, definitely not. So while losing weight, it may be tougher to progress with bench, squat, deadlift. Sometimes you can like wedge in a little better when like you don't have as much of a belly, but so like your angles will change with squat and with deadlift. Yeah, but bench is just like, I mean, angles change in every lift. Bench is harder for sure.
I felt like I went backwards a little bit, so I was very frustrated with myself. But trying to put that behind me, move forward.
Yeah, don't be frustrated. We all have those days. Out of like all of the lifts, if this is the first that you've been frustrated with, out of how many weeks of lifting, I say that's not bad.
Yeah, true.
Harsh, what's up with you?
Not much. Not far enough. Things are just going fine.
Your squats weren't deep enough, huh?
Yep, that was the one not fun part.
How about deadlifts?
But I think he said I don't bend my knees enough for the Dorian deadlifts. Yeah, I don't understand exactly what I'm supposed to be doing there. It's kind of a strange movement to me.
Yeah, Dorian deadlifts are strange, but they help.
I mean, yeah, like I don't know why using too much back is a bad thing, for example, and I don't know. I don't really have strong opinions on it, but
Right. Because we don't want, if you have, strong legs, we don't want for you to use more back when you can use more legs. The movement would be a little more balanced. Like when my form breaks, I kind of slide into using more back, and it's just not good. Um, yeah, you use legs pretty well with deadlift, I would say. Are you still frustrated with the small amounts of weight on the bar for RPE 7? That it's not like RPE 9.5 and 10?
I think like um, one of the days I had like 9 sets of deadlifts. I don't remember which one. I think it was like a day 3, and none of it was like heavy. But then I followed like the whatever the recommended rest times between sets, and like it just like got me tired, and none of it was hard. But like after that, I had to do high bar squats, and I was just done. Like I had zero energy for those high bar squats. I was ready to leave.
Damn, if you had zero energy, I don't know what we would have done if we did a workout like that. Okay. Very interesting. Cool. So you reached a new energy loss threshold, a new exhaustion threshold. Congratulations.
Yeah. I don't know if
Nice.
that's a good thing, but okay.
Yeah. Cool. What are my wins this week? My wins are, I guess I'm not happy with my sumo, but like it's not going down at least. And I was doing banded sumo, like West Side style. Uh yeah, that's really hard. And I got all my lifts done, and I'm going to Florida tomorrow for Vegan Health and Fitness Expo. I'm sure you guys are sick seeing that on my Instagram, and I just can't wait till I start posting something else. But yeah, it's a huge event. It's probably the biggest speaking event that I've ever been invited to. So that's the only thing that I'm thinking about, honestly. If you have any recommendations on things to tell people during the presentation, that would be lovely, because I did make a presentation. It's called No Time to Be Weak. The majority of the crowd will be vegan, I think, or like vegan curious. But yeah, still open to suggestions. Anyways, I have a presentation for today as well. If I can share my screen, we are going to. We are going to do that. All right. Do you see my yay. Okay, great. Where is the presenter mode? In view? Y'all, where's the presenter mode? Help me. I don't use PowerPoint like ever. From the beginning. Yay. Okay. I cannot see y'all's faces this way. I'm gonna use it this way because I want to see everybody's face. So anyways, lifting one alone time was the voted topic for today. So, powerlifting takes forever. I'm kind of a fan because that's where I get to read like all my messages. I save stuff on my phone. So I do stuff on my phone in between sets. I've seen even people bringing books and like reading books in between sets. But anyways, for main lifts, you can save time by not warming up like your whole body. If you really got to get in and out, let's say you're doing bench, like, there's no reason to warm up your calves and like ankles. I mean, yeah, it helps, but you can do the minimum with a band, some face pulls, some banded lat pull downs, maybe some deep squats to warm up knees, and something to get your heart rate a little bit up, and then jump right into your warm up. After you do your muscle group specific warm up, you can take less time between sets. That's also a useful tip if you're competing, and if you're the people in front of you are taking less time than supposed to, right? If you're like, oh shit, like I gotta rush my warm up, very useful in competition, because you can do bar and then throw some weight, bar plus a little bit of weight, throw some more weight, a little bit of weight, basically without rest, because it's lightweight, right? You're still warming up. So I've learned to have to do that at meets sometimes, do this in the gym occasionally. Like today my workout took me 45 minutes. I don't know how, but I did a ton of bench, and yeah, it took 45 minutes. Cool. Timer for rest is not something that I typically use, but I like timing with songs. So when I hear a song, my headphones are like just playing in the gym, I kind of know that like if I'm hearing a chorus and then like time has passed, if I'm hearing the chorus again, like I need to get to the barbell kind of thing. And of course, they're all different lengths. Most songs are like 2-3 minutes. So if I've heard a song and completely passed, I'm like, oh yeah, I definitely need to go to the bar, right? Depending on the lift, of course, but that has helped me when I don't have my headphones, when I don't have my music, just kind of knowing that, all right, most songs are about this duration. And if there's a bridge, and I was listening to like 2 choruses already, it's probably been like a minute and a half. Supersets. So unless you're programmed supersets, you're kind of not supposed to really use them, right? Because we want to rest enough and then just go at it. However, if you're using agonist and antagonist muscles, that is fine. Or if you're using like upper and lower body muscles, that is also fine. If you're doing accessories, for example, I would not superset, squat and deadlift or like squat and bench. I wouldn't do this. We're talking accessories here. So, however, if it's like light, close grip bench, I could probably superset it while I'm warming up for a squat, unless somebody minds that I'm taking 2 spots in the gym. It's kind of a dick move. Taking 2 racks, especially if they're combo racks, competition racks. So anyways, I've been yelled at for doing that before, like in an empty gym, nobody was there, but somebody was like, hey, why do you need 2 racks? And I'm like, nobody's here, man. Like nobody cares. But apparently that dude cared. Like I wasn't curling in the rack, but anyways, yeah, you can use upper, lower, or like muscles that don't relate, or agonist, antagonist, biceps, triceps, same muscle, different angle. I guess at the end, this is what I did today. I had delts, right? I had anterior, lateral, and posterior delts. So I just supersetted all of them. It's the same muscle, different angles, different strands of your delts. So that still works. Or you can also do machine and free weight. I would normally start with free weight and then finish it off with a machine, right? Because that's easier. So start with something harder to use more of your stabilizing muscles, and then move to the machine. That's also fine. I think something that Michelle has in her workouts actually is exercise supersetted with a stretch, with a calf stretch. Yeah. So if you're tight somewhere, like be it quads or calves or triceps, I don't know. And let's say you're doing a different part of body, not whatever is tight on you at that moment, you can stretch it in between exercises, right? If you're like done with legs, for example, you have bench left, great, stretch your quads. Stretch, 1.5, 2 minutes. That's probably as much time as you need to stretch your quads anyways. Amazing time saver. Social element. Lifting with partners can save or add time depending on how you do it. Sometimes they help you load in weight and spot you, and real quick you load weight for them. Like I used to lift with my coach, for example, and we would use the same rack to squat. He squatted like 2.5 times as I did, but we were still faster than other people because we would load for each other, and we would I didn't need to spot him. But if he spotted me, I would even squat faster because I was just confident, so yeah, having spots, not missing lifts, being confident in your lifting partner, making sure everybody's on track. Lovely. You can ask people to work in instead of waiting. Kind of upsets me when people now walk into the gym, they don't see like their favorite rack or their favorite bar, and they just like sit there for half an hour. I think it's the dumbest thing. Like when but I also come from like the gym back home where we used to have one bench, one squat rack, and one deadlift platform. So whoever showed up at that time, you used that with everybody and you reloaded and shared. So like it's just absurd to me that we have so much equipment and people are still stingy. I don't understand. So yeah, I feel okay asking people to work in. Like they can just say no. If I see somebody's waiting, I will offer to work in. I'd be like, hey dude, like do you want to work in with me? Like I understand you want this rack or do you want this bar? So whatever. Now to the don'ts. I do see people rush their stretching all the time. A person who does that, unfortunately, is not on the call right now. Otherwise, I would call him out. But yeah, stretching is not something to rush, please. Very easy to get injured. PT and warm-ups is not something to rush if you're doing like a cat-cow. It's a core activation exercise. It's not about just like wobbling, in and out your back. Like joint gymnastics, sure, you can rush that. You can quickly rotate your joints. But if it's something more of like core or hip, like don't really do it recklessly and carelessly. I mean, I hope nobody on this call is going to do that. I know that. Yeah, another person who was trying to do that is not here. But I get really frustrated when clients be like, hey, so like my workouts are too long. My workouts are too long. And then I see them do cardio, like running. That's not programmed like 3-4 times a week for half an hour. And I'm like, yo, you don't have time to lift? What is all this running about? So like, I mean, maybe the person likes to run, but I feel like, yeah, maybe it's for mental health, but I just, in terms of time savings, I feel like there's more mental and physical gains in a little more lifting, a little less cardio, but that's just me, unless you're getting ready for a marathon. And I also see people doing stupid stuff in between their sets, such as like jumping jacks and burpees and all of that. This is not CrossFit. This is powerlifting. We don't do stupid shit between sets. And I really struggle when I see people do stupid shit between sets and I want to like come tell them, but I know they're not going to be receptive to that. So it just sucks. It's like, oh God, why are you doing this? Like, or like the boxing moves and then they going back to whatever they were doing. It's like, can you stop? Can you just chill, stretch your calves and then go back to your bench? One other thing we cannot rush is fat loss. And it is so frustrating, but we probably here all know that growing muscle is a pain in the ass process that takes forever. So if you're trying to grow muscle, the 5 quick tips won't work. The 5 quick tips won't work for fat loss either. So yeah, we don't have Amazon 2-day shipping for that stuff, sadly. So yeah, spread the truth and wisdom to your friends, and maybe on the 100th time, as you say it, maybe it will sink in. So, yay. Comments, feedback, jokes.
I approve of the choice of pictures.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, I have like folders of lifting memes. It's very embarrassing.
Those are good.
Yeah. Do you guys have any other tips on saving time while lifting?
I think the PT bullet that you had was a good one, because I know that I've been struggling with getting my PT done, and given my like tendency to get injured, I know I need to do it. So one of the things that I've been trying to do is like schedule my PT on days when I'm not lifting, because if I'm lifting for an hour and a half each workout, I'll, at the beginning, I'm like, oh, I'll do my PT afterwards. But then by the time I'm done, I'm so tired that I don't do it. And so I think scheduling it on the off days when I'm not lifting, I think that tends to work a lot better.
Yeah. Scheduling is a really good tip, actually. Like when you have stuff at a specific time, like at 2:30 p.m., I'm doing my PT. And yeah, I suck at that too. I don't like to do certain things and certain stretches, but yeah. Michelle, Carol, you always have like the specific window for your lifting. How do you guys do it and get everything done?
Well, I mean, we do work in with people in the gym, so we try to make sure we're being efficient that way. The in between sets stretching, that saved so much time. I know it seems a little simple, but it was. I mean, it keeps me occupied during the rest time, and it's helping with stretching my calves. So
I just always skip cardio.
you will never catch me doing a jumping jack between anything. So,
No, yes, same.
but yeah, I think just making the most of the time that you're at the gym, and you know, we go at a certain time when we know it's not that busy as well. Because if we go at 5 o'clock, there's a ton of people there, so fighting for equipment is much. So we wait till 7 o'clock or so to go. So
That's actually a great tip. Don't go when everybody goes. That's a great tip. Don't go at rush hour. Yeah. And probably driving to the gym takes more time at that time as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
I thought of another one. This only applies to like a home gym, but when I finish a workout at home, I think about, okay, well, what am I going to be doing next at home? And I go ahead and I set up the bar and I set up the rack for my next workout. So that way, as soon as I'm ready to do my next workout, I don't have to like find all the plates and rearrange the bar from my bench setup to my squat setup or whatever. Like it's already there and I can get started faster. Because for me, getting started is always the hardest part. And so if I can make that aspect of it easier for myself, then the whole rest of the workout tends to be better.
That's nice. That's a great tip. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I guess for me, it's a chain of events that need to happen before I lift. So I lift like in the afternoon. So I know if I haven't eaten by a certain time, like if it's 10 or 11 and I'm just like sitting here with my coffee working, I'm like, damn, I didn't eat. So I'm going to go lift on an empty stomach. I need that energy. So I'm literally trying to get the food in. So by like 2 or 3 p.m., I digest, and I can drive and like lift. So yeah, setting up the barbell and squat versus bench versus deadlift setup. Great tip for the home. For the non-home, maybe like packing your gym bag and putting the right stuff in there, like making sure your belt's there, your knee socks are there if you're deadlifting, or whatever other equipment. I have the same gym bag that has everything in it at all times. Like I don't take stuff out, but yeah, I guess if people need to take stuff out. Yeah. Awesome. I have another tip. I saw Errol doing it. He took work to the gym today. So he was working between sets. That was so awesome. I guess that's a work from home situation, is like you can work from anywhere. I've done that before, for sure. Like I would write notes and for presentations and like scripts and notes on like programming. It's really inconvenient to program people out of the gym, but I can at least like do drafts and ideas. Yeah. Awesome. What about if you're low on time, right? And like your lifting is done. We talked about lifting. What other things do you do when life is just hectic? I'm going to need those tips because Veg Fest season is starting. I'm going to be traveling probably like 2 days out of the month, maybe 3.
Do you mean like I don't know if this is what you're asking, but we meal prep. And that's key. I mean, we don't have, by the time we go to the gym at 7 o'clock, get home at 8:30, 9 o'clock, we don't want to cook. So we do meal prep on the weekends so that we have all our food ready. It's a huge saver.
I love meal prep. Yeah. I don't even think about it for some reason. I assume everybody does it, but then you come to somebody's home and there's like a bunch of takeout and you're like, oh.
Yeah.
just have half-eaten like Chinese rice in there and all
Mhm.
over your fridge. Great. Okay.
I have another one. So when you're short on time, I think for me, it helps to look at because when you have a coach who's programming your stuff for you and you're in a new week, so you're doing a new set of exercises that maybe some of them you haven't done before, I think it really helps to look at it like during a moment where you're not in a hurry and running around, but to look at your workout and know what it is you need to do. Because I found that if I know what I'm going to do next, especially if it's at the gym, I'll know, okay, I need to find this machine next. I've had it happen where I'm in the middle of a workout and I've done my 2 minutes of rest between sets or between exercises.
Yeah.
And then I'm like wandering around trying to find the next machine. And I know that like time, like I'm wasting time. And so I think kind of having a sense of which machines or which racks or whatever you're going to use beforehand, I think really helps.
Yeah, I totally agree. I guess my traveling tip is if you exercise and travel, like I'm going to very shortly, because I have a meet coming up exactly in a month. Like I'm not going to skip my workouts. I Google up gyms in each town and I call them and I'd be like, so because I've learned you can't just come and if it looks like a deadlift platform, go deadlift. Harsh has also assumed that sometimes. And like when he was in India, he couldn't just roll into the gym and like deadlift. We get yelled at sometimes, like it's terrible. And then we can't deadlift and we just get frustrated. And like, I'm not going to gently put down almost 400 pounds on the floor. Thank you. But yeah, I'll call a gym, be like, hey, can I do deadlifts? Do you have a platform? And if they say, what? What's the platform? What kind of platform? I'm like, thank you, bye. Because they probably don't allow that, right? Like, can I bring chalk? Do you have a deadlift platform? And like, I can drop the weights down on the floor, right? You have rubber matting or some kind of athletic floor where I can drop it and nobody's gonna come yell at me. Paramount when traveling and paramount to call before time. And I would even like book Airbnbs close to those gyms, like in between the gym and the venue where I'm going. Yeah, because otherwise it's just such a hassle getting in and out and figuring it out. Oh, and also the time when they open. One time I was traveling and I was like, oh, there's tons of gyms in the city. And I looked up gyms and I called everybody. Everything was great. Well, they opened at 8 a.m. I know. And they close at like 9 p.m. So all day when I was at the event, I was clearly not lifting. So when the hell are people like supposed to lift in the short window, before and after work? So yeah, that was super frustrating. So finding like 24/7 gyms, Anytime Fitness is great for that. You usually need to call them and like they usually allow deadlifting. They're not like a super powerlifting friendly gym, but they're better than O2 Fitness normally. They're open all the time. And I would usually call them and be like, hey, I'm going to buy your thing. Like, can I electronically, buy a day? Because you show up there, it's closed, right? Usually nobody at the reception. But if you bought it ahead of time, you can go and lift anytime and super convenient. Any other time saving or traveling friendly lifting tips?
Try to chill out.
Try to chill out. You're talking to me?
No, just in general, like when you're busy.
Oh,
You're not you specifically, but like anybody who's busy and traveling, just kind of expect that it's going to be tough and try not to let it stress you out too much.
yeah, that's true. That's true. But I also do need to chill out.
Me too. I'm talking about myself mostly.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I need to write it on a sticky note and put it on the laptop. I mean, on my PC. I have a bunch of notes. This is one of them. Yeah, that means I can't just do the same thing and be satisfied. Different things are fine. Yeah, but chill out is another one. Yeah, great. Awesome. Well, I don't know if you guys saved any questions or if people watching us have questions, but this is the time. I will only ask to not like throw specific programming related questions because I probably don't remember what I wrote in there and why, um, but more like general things.
Is there a difference between RPE and RIR?
Yes, kind of. They are opposite. So RPE, basically RPE 9, you can only do 1. RPE 10, you can do 0, right? RPE 9.5 is like have a little bit in the tank, but I can't do another rep. So RIR is reps
In reserve.
in reserve. Yes. So if you do RPE 9, you have 1 rep in reserve. If you do RPE 8, you have 2 reps in reserve, etc. So they kind of go opposite. And yeah, I guess when I write RPE, 6, 7, 8, etc., I'm trying to make sure you focus on effort. When I write reps in reserve, I could write RPE. You're right, but I'm more trying to make sure that you have this many reps in the tank and you know it. Yeah, I feel like RPE is a little bit more subjective sometimes, and you can like overshoot or undershoot, or at least like I overshoot and undershoot with RPE worse. If I do reps in reserve, it's like, okay, I know I could do another one, or I could do 2 more. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Good question.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So I got my singlet in the mail today.
Yay!
Oh my God. And I tried it on and it felt really weird. And
Yeah, send us pictures in the group chat. They're so
I
ugly.
couldn't do that to you.
No, singlets are ugly. You're supposed to look terrible in it, and I can send you mine. I mean, this is so bad. Which one did you get, Inzer?
No, I got it's actually one that's not super well known, but they make a women's specific one. They're called Iron Rebel. They were super, like, they were about the same price as Inzer, but Inzer only makes one that's like for men. It's really for men, but then women just force themselves into it too. And I'm just like, I'm not into that. So I got one that's specifically for women.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it feels like it doesn't really stretch as much as I thought it would. And it feels like it's kind of a little bit like it doesn't stretch very much. And I don't know if that's normal. Like how should you feel in a singlet that fits you correctly? I guess is my question.
I'm curious what everybody else is going to say, and I'm going to say in the end. What do you guys think? How do you know if it's a good singlet that fits? Errol, I don't know if you're listening, but maybe you
it's tight.
All right. Well, that
I don't know if I cut out.
No, we heard you. You said it should be tight. Okay. So, Michelle, you were gonna go?
I was just gonna say I have no reference to give you, Julie. Sorry, I don't have one.
Right. Yeah, I've tried multiple. I haven't tried Iron Rebel. I have 2 singlets right now. It's Inzer, that is just so ugly, but like it's cheap and everybody wears them. It's approved everywhere. Like you don't have to worry about whether it's approved or no. And Virus is the one that I like and compete in because for multiple reasons. It's a little bit more stretchy at the top, but it's made out of different material on the thighs. So instead of like Inzer that has this band that just cuts into my thigh, and like, my thigh has like fat roll on the bottom and fat roll on the top. I'm like, great. And I mean, it doesn't like prevent blood circulation or anything, but it's weird. And it's also a little shorter on me. So it just like, I don't know. It's weird. Anyways, Virus has different material on your thighs that like it breathes around the crotch, but then thicker material on the bottom to kind of like hug your thighs and not slide up, but also doesn't choke your thighs. That's the only thing that I've tried that kind of does that. It doesn't have any like thin rubber bands that cut in anywhere. It's just comfortable. It's a little more expensive, but the material on the top is thinner and it's pretty stretchy. It's pretty stretchy. I did not like SBDs because they have tiny legs. As I tried SBD for women, and SBD sucks at not having black color, like black and white, available all the time. They will have roll in, purple and roll in like American flag, and you can't buy anything else. Like they only have, they like make one color and then that's all you can buy. And once that batch is gone, they make a new one. So it's like the black and white SBDs go for good money, resold normally. So yeah, you may just have to, go to some powerlifting meet, and if there's vendors with different singlets, try some, because there's really no other places you can just come in and try. There's no shops with singlets and powerlifting equipment, sadly. I've tried A7 also. A7 also choked me on the thighs, but it was too loose on the stomach, so it just didn't look pretty. I don't know. But they're not supposed to, really.
Yeah, I looked at Virus too, because they had pretty good reviews, like in terms of being good for women. But I didn't want to spend that much money on a singlet while my body is still kind of like, my body is changing a lot. Like my legs are huge and like everything's, I don't know where I'm going to end up, and I don't want to buy something that may not fit me later.
Yeah.
So I bought something that's cheaper, that kind of will work for the midterm or short term,
Yeah.
and then longer term I can get something nice.
That's a good strategy. Yeah. That's exactly what I did. I bought single Inzer when I started competing, and was just like, maybe I'm gonna like not get into this, but there was no way. So Virus is, I think it'll fit you pretty well, regardless if you go up and down in like a size. It's pretty stretchy. It's more stretchy than Inzer, that's for sure. Inzer almost feels like single ply to me. Like it's thick.
Dang.
Why do people wear these?
In competition, you're required to wear a singlet. So
Oh,
yeah.
no.
Mm-hmm.
Why though? Like, what, is it just, I don't know, are t-shirts like a disadvantage, an unfair advantage or something?
No, they just you wear a t-shirt under the singlet, right? You wear underwear and a t-shirt, and singlet is just shorts and then something like this on the top that goes over your t-shirt, and they're required so everybody can see your body angles. It's easy to see if your butt touches the bench or if it lifts in the bench. It's easy to see your hip crease and your hip bone for the squat. For deadlift, is easy to see whether you locked out your hips or no. Like somebody can wear maybe loose shorts and like they can't see the knees. So with a singlet, there's nothing like that can potentially happen, right? There's very strict rules, like you wear, knee socks for deadlift. You wear.
So you can't like do just barefoot?
Huh?
Can you deadlift barefoot?
You cannot.
Okay.
Yeah. So we try to pick shoes that are the thinnest, which in my experience are lifting large. They're the thinnest. They're thinner than Notorious Lift and all of the knockoffs that you can find on Amazon. Yeah. You lift barefoot, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, deadlifting barefoot is awesome. Michelle and Carol's like shaking her head like, no, deadlifting barefoot is not awesome.
I don't do anything barefoot. So
That's just
me. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just for me.
I think like at the gym, I'm barefoot almost the entire time unless I'm squatting.
No, not me. You were going to say something.
No. I would prefer to deadlift barefoot.
Yeah. I mean, if you're not competing, go for it.
I prefer to deadlift barefoot, but I don't want to spoil myself. So I wear my shoes at home, my deadlift shoes. That way it's always the same.
Yeah, that's a good call. It's a really good call. Yeah, I think I do the same thing. I try not to switch up my shoes around too much. So if I've been training with like flats, I'll do flats for bench. If I do heels, like I feel like my whole form is changing. So it really pisses me off when people come into the gym and they start warming up in like their whatever they wear outside the gym. Halfway through the warm up, they take the shoes off, bench, a couple barefoot or in socks, and then put their bench shoes on. By the time they're already warm, they warmed up like completely different anatomy trains. And I'm like, okay, let's see how that works out for you. It's like kind of insignificant, but kind of also is significant at the same time, depending on how much weight the person's doing, how big they are. So like I would prefer that nobody does that. If you pick a shoe for a lift, just like that's it. You're married to that shoe for the rest of your lift. Don't take it off. Don't change it. Yeah. You're not a drunk girl after a party taking your shoes off. Any other questions, comments, thoughts, and feedback?
Do you have any tips on dealing with soreness? Like, I don't think we've talked about this, but I've also missed the last 2 calls. So maybe you did, but after my last workout, I was like sore within like a few hours of it. And then the next morning it was like brutal.
What did you do in the workout?
I did squats and deadlift and accessories. So it wasn't surprising that I was sore. But I also know, I think I saw something online, which, who knows if that's accurate or not, that you shouldn't try to do like walking or anything immediately after you're working out, even though some people say like that might help to flush things out, but they also say that it might negatively impact your muscle growth, which I think is odd. So I was just curious what you thought about, like, if you feel sore or if you know you're going to be sore, any like preventative measures that you could recommend.
Oh, and to what extent, what is your opinion on taking, I don't know what they're called, like ibuprofen?
Ibuprofen, yeah. Okay, let me answer Julie's question first. So I know so many people who do long-term cardio after their lifts. Most of them are bodybuilders. Like, they're not trying to lose muscle, trying to gain muscle and stay as lean as possible. I think it's totally fine if your cardio is like, I don't know, 10, 20 minutes. If it's like 30 minutes plus, I mean, maybe, but drink some BCAAs, drink some EAs, and call it a day. I absolutely recommend a little bit of cardio at least after every workout. Like, I walk my dog after all my workouts. Yes, it does help flush out exercise byproducts from your muscles, and it helps you feel less sore. What else? I should do like a presentation on soreness, because I feel like I could do a PhD in soreness at this point. So let's see. Immediately before and after workout, foam rolling. Of course, you can either do like ultra painful foam rolling for like 10 minutes on your sore spots. 10 seconds or 2 minutes if it's like moderate. It's about the same. The research that I've looked at was from 2018. So I haven't revisited that in recent years. But it was like, yeah, if you're just like totally dying, rolling your quads for 10 seconds, it's equal to rolling your quads for 2 minutes. So it depends on the time that you have. I typically don't kill myself and foam roll slowly. I used to kill myself and foam roll for a short time. It's about the same, right? So I do that. Massage gun can help a little bit. Just kind of shake everything up and provide more blood flow and lymph flow. Cupping, depending if you like cupping. I love cupping. I even have a cupping gun that would like suck out, I don't know how many atmospheres. It feels like atmospheres of pressure out of wherever I put it on. So yeah, for example, I would recommend seeing a therapist for it and having them explain how to do this. But what my therapist has done to me, and something that I understand really well, like, is, for example, if like my rotator cuff is, limited in range of motion, right? Or like my I don't know, I'm opening my arms differently. So I'm going to put a cup on a muscle that's tight and then do that movement or do that rotation. And if you see the skin under the cup is like really getting uncomfortable, like you're not bleeding clearly, but getting kind of slightly like bruised and uncomfortable, then that's probably the spot. Or so if you put a lot of oil and you move a cup around, the spot where it kind of sticks and doesn't want to leave is usually your knot. It's usually a sore spot. So again, please check with a therapist when you do this or before you learn how to do this. But that's what I've seen my therapist do. And I kind of do this myself sometimes. Like I would put on a triceps and like extend and contract. Quads, really easy to do. Let's see. Sauna really helps me. I do it once a week with friends. In terms of soreness and central nervous system relaxation, it's just crazy. I don't think anything beats it, but not everybody can do it because it's like boiling temperature in there, right? So people with blood pressure problems can't do it, or like quick hot and cold, like people with some heart problems can't do it. So yeah, let's see. What else? Those are probably the main things in terms of soreness. Icing doesn't reduce soreness. It reduces inflammation. Yeah, ice and heat.
Cool. No, that helps. Thanks.
Yeah. Harsh, you asked about ibuprofen. So ibuprofen, I would do 600, 800 milligrams. I'm not a doctor, but that's what I personally do for myself. If I'm like, something is painful, something is like inflamed, or it's so sore that I'm just like, okay, I need something. I would probably rather do like CBD or something, that's not like that is not as bad for the liver as like ibuprofen. But yeah, I know powerlifters who just eat ibuprofen like Skittles. I do know people who do that, or at least my coach told me when we were lifting and like approaching the meets, it was really hard to do twice a day at 100 milligrams. Back in the day, that's what we did, because like 2 pills usually don't really do much, for me at least. And I rarely do it. I don't do it like if I really need to. The one tip that I can give you with that is before your heavy lifts, it kind of relaxes your muscles. I wouldn't really do ibuprofen. I wouldn't do it for if you're competing, if you're peaking. I wouldn't do it at least a week or a week and a half before your meet, if you can. Yeah. Last questions. Cool. I feel like no questions. Everybody's happy. Well, we can wrap it up a little early in this case because I still have to pack for Florida, and so much stuff to do.
What is your thing about?
Huh?
What is Vegan Fest about?
Yeah, so this is oh, you don't have Instagram, that's right. You must have gotten an email from me if you're on my newsletter. It's a vegan health and fitness expo with vegan only brands and services, and vegan only bodybuilding show that Danny and Giacomo are going to judge for. Robert Chica is going to be there. Like all of the celebrities and athletes in the vegan world are going to be there. And somehow I've been invited to speak. So I'm like, can't wait. So yeah, it's in Fort Lauderdale on Saturday.
I think there was some flooding there recently. Maybe I misremembered.
Cool. Michelle, if you're talking.
Sorry, I was going to say, yeah, I thought recently as well, like yesterday.
Okay. Well, hope flight isn't canceled.
Some airport was closed. I don't remember which one.
Okay. Thanks for the news. I'll do some Googling tonight. Yay. Yeah, unfortunately, there's no powerlifting show there, but there's like only a handful of vegan powerlifters, and I know all of them except for like Sophia. So yeah. If you guys know anybody who wants 2 tickets, I'm giving those away. If you know anybody around Fort Lauderdale
So what are you
who wants to
talking
come.
about?
Huh?
Do you know, like, what are you talking about? Are you just like promoting?
What am I talking about? I'm talking about powerlifting, man, because everybody else is going to be there on their, whole food, plant-based religion, never eat anything out of a package. It's so bad for you. Like, and I'm just going to talk about like getting stronger and not really caring about much else. And that you can do it on a plant-based diet. So like my presentation is about that, about like how to impact the world if you're a powerlifter and vegan, and kind of do your activism that way.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Speaking of which, I would love to hear about processed food at some point.
Oh boy.
I have seen so many people talk about like, oh, processed food is bad for you. And so I asked them, even dietitians online, I'm like, okay, well, what exactly do you mean by processed? Like everything's processed. You pick a fruit from a tree, it's processed, right? By definition. So what does processed mean? And at what point does processed go from okay to being bad, and why? And nobody can answer that question. Sorry, that's a little rant of mine, but
I love this rant, and we can rant together maybe on the next call, because I would love to open this can of worms. Yeah, I mean, I side with like Danny and Giacomo on this. There's nothing wrong with processed food, unless there's some ingredients in there that you don't want. You know what I mean? You don't want saturated fats, trans fats. You don't want any hydrogenated vegetable oils. In terms of preservatives, like sugar is a preservative, alcohol is a preservative, vinegar and salt are preservatives. Preservatives are freaking fine. Without them, food goes bad. Hello. Like, so
Yeah.
when does it go from okay to not okay? Is just look at the ingredients. There's no like, recipe for, oh, processed good, processed bad. But people are dumb. They don't want to think about it. They want to simplify it, and I think that's why a lot of diets fails. People try to eat good foods and like clean foods, even though like you're welcome to eat your chips for carbs if that's what's satisfying for you. Sure, replace rice with chips and call it a day. Add your protein, have some fiber, and eat your chips. Like, have a beer. It's okay.
And people are like, oh, but I have a protein shake every day. And I'm like, well, is it protein powder? Like about as processed as you could possibly get, and I hear crickets. So that one's been on my mind for a while.
Ooh.
I have a lot of spicy topics in my head.
You like spicy topics. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Well, I made notes on this. So maybe in 2 Thursdays, let's vote for soreness or processed foods or something along these lines. Maybe you guys are going to suggest better topics. Yeah. This was fun. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. I'm going to remove people in the order of joining. Bye, Errol. And bye, Michelle and Carol. And bye, Julie. And bye, Hush. Thank you guys so much for chiming in to the Total Body Lab Clients and Friends bi-weekly chat. We're live on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn, so you can watch us anywhere and ask questions in the chat during. Don't be shy. The people who are invited to join are clients, in case you're wondering who those people are. Those are all members of Team Total Body Lab and our clients. So you are welcome to apply for coaching if you're interested on TotalBodyLab.com. And there's also a new site coming up in development with more cool stuff and information on lifting and nutrition and recovery. So stay tuned, and I'll talk to you in 2 weeks. Bye.